Story 1. I want my snooze button to pause time. No more rushed showers, no coffee, and breakfast at my lunch break. Snooze means snooze for the universe. Story 2. Honestly, teleportation is my true answer. Travel expenses are one of the highest costs for a vacation. No more gas money, and you can just teleport back home at night, so no hotel is needed. Tell me I am wrong. Story 3. The ability to touch any object to gain knowledge of its history. Strong enough to go back to that time period. This would allow me to see that object's true historical story. Story 4. The ability to manipulate plastic like a bender from Avatar. I would roam the earth and pick up all the plastic litter from all the nooks and crannies that nobody can be bothered to clean. I will get on a boat and clean the oceans. I will remove microplastics from people's blood. I will use all this plastic to manufacture and build useful things. It would also help in my hobby life, as I like Lego and Warhammer. Many people have told me how I could control microplastics to manipulate people's bodies. One suggestion was that I could concentrate microplastics into a blockage in someone's arteries and cause a stroke or a coronary heart attack. I think I will just make people's bodies explode. Story 5. Being able to manipulate the odds in any given scenario is the most useful superpower there is. Is it likely that some billionaire will die and leave me all their money? The odds are extremely low. Is it likely that everyone's illnesses and injuries will suddenly heal overnight? The chance is also negligible. What about a giant meteor heading for Earth about to destroy it? The odds of another one just happening to intercept it at the right angle are equally minuscule. To everyone saying my opinion is wrong, this is just a 10-second comment on a casual online thread. Story 6. Ability to speak every language fluently and perfectly mimic accents, including, for example, speaking Spanish with a German accent. Know all the slang and different regional dialects as well. With that knowledge, you could privately contract your skills and make more than enough money to travel to any country. Story 7. I want to provide pleasure to random people by snapping my fingers. Argument, pleasure instead. Fight, just crawl on the ground and enjoy yourself. War, a whole army not able to fight because of climaxing. Story 8. I would want the power to refill things. Finished a nice bottle of whiskey? Refill it. Bank account low? Refill it. Somebody's upset me? Refill their bladder. Lots of interesting ways to use it. Because some people are asking for specifics, you can't just refill something with anything. It has to be what was originally there. Hence refilling, not just filling. It can be done an infinite number of times. As mentioned, you can use it on other people, not just yourself, and it can be very abstract or very material. Here are some more examples. Shopping. You can just refill your kitchen. You'd only need to buy items you've never bought before. You'd save so much money. Hope. If you're feeling hopeless, or somebody else is, you can refill your hope. Now apply this to many other emotions and feelings. You could refill the world's hope and happiness. Zombie apocalypse scenario. Refill your gas tank, refill your stomach, refill the shops, refill your ammo, refill any blood loss, etc. This can also apply to any general disaster. You could also refill the life in a zombie. Refill areas that have been affected by deforestation. Refill the ozone layer. Refill the coral reef. You can use it for good, selfish, practical, or even sinister reasons. Story 9. Portals, like in The Mage. The Gathering roleplay books from White Wolf allow you to open a portal to anywhere you have a connection with. You need to know the place well, either by study or by having been there. The portal only needs to be big enough to grab something through it, about 1 by 1 meter. The opportunities are endless. For instance, setting up a table somewhere with all kinds of things one could need but does not want to carry. Or being able to look at a place without being there would make for a powerful information gathering tool. Also, you could carry your own death ray. A small portal to the surface of the sun would make for a devastating pocket nuke. Story 10. This may be slightly psychotic, but I want to be able to trigger auditory hallucinations. If I see two people I do not like, I can make them think they are insulting each other, and then I stop as I watch a fight break out between them. I work in a call center, and if a customer is actively insulting me, which happens a lot, I can traumatize them out of spite. I could make them think their insult was the straw that broke the camel's back. They hear me shoot myself, and they hear all my coworkers screaming. Meanwhile, the call recording just hears me asking if they are still there. Hello? I swear I am definitely okay. Story 11. Is omniscience a superpower? If not, then the ability to create a working version of anything I can imagine is. Engineer's wet dream. Story 12. I think it would be pretty cool to be able to reach into a television show or movie and just take what I want, and it becomes reality. Story 13. I have been focused on this goal for years. I want to achieve perfect sleep all the time. Whenever I want to sleep, I fall asleep instantly, wake up when it is time, and experience deep restoration every time. Story 14. I'm sticking with my skill of finding things which I have in real life, but I want to improve it a bit. Currently, I can walk into a room, get asked where something is, and spot it straight away, such as vitamins, socks, or keys. I would like to take it to the next level, so I can be walking outside and suddenly realize there is a gold bracelet in a bush or a bundle of cash discarded somewhere. Story 15. Telekinesis. And I will be political. Whoops. A flying poleaxe just took down that politician I did not like. Could be anyone. Yoink. Oh, so this is the laptop with all the sensitive data. Marvelous. What a chance it dropped by your window from the vault, and I happened to catch it a block away. Crazy wind. Hey, guess who is getting pantsed every time they lie on television? That is right. Everyone. Story 16. Okay, this is one I thought would be cool, but is overshadowed by other original posts. What if you had your own pocket dimension that you could access anytime you want? Like an infinite sack that you can open whenever and do not need to hold. You can store anything in it, even people, and everything freezes in its current temperature and shape. Story 17. I want the power to know everything I want to know. It is basically the cheat code of superpowers. I want to know how to turn invisible. I want to know how to fly. I want to know how to get fusion power working for humanity. I want to know the cure for any disease. I want to know tomorrow's winning lottery numbers. Story 18. Shapeshifting means I can transform into anyone or anything within a reasonable size range. Story 19. The ability to have a deep understanding of biology. You know how Eve can see individual atoms and bend them to her will? Like that, but with biology. I want to shapeshift and cure illnesses. I want to morph into a different form and walk through hospitals curing people anonymously. I want to morph into a bird and fly. I want to keep myself at an enhanced human level and get rid of my depression. This is the perfect superpower for me. Story 20. Flying, but in a floaty type of way. Let me swim through the air like it is water. Need something high up? Let me propel myself with my arms and just float up to it. I can also use it to jump higher and farther. I got this idea from my dreams, where this is a recurring thing I can always do in them. It is a very freeing feeling. Story 21. To relive any previous 24-hour period in my life with no repercussions to the present if I do things differently. Story 22. Unrestricted instant teleportation. I want it to be like Goku, where someone can put a hand on me and go with me. Story 23. Compress 8 hours of sleep into 1 hour and still have the energy benefits for 23 hours. See into the past. Story 24. To know the answer to any and every question I can ponder. Any question, sky's the limit. Cure for cancer? Done. Winning lottery numbers for tomorrow's jackpot? Now I know. The anti-gravity equation? Easy. How did they build the pyramids? Knowledge is the most powerful thing you can have. Story 25. The power to instantly place an aggressive online commenter in an arena with the person they are being vicious and rude to, revealing that in reality, they would not have the courage to say those things to someone's face. Story 26. Honestly, my first choice is boring. I would choose perfect health and regeneration, regardless of my diet or exercise, with no aging, just effective immortality. The regeneration is necessary in case I get a serious injury. There must be a specific way for me to will it undone if I really want out. But the most interesting superpower I dreamed about was real-life cut copy paste with storage. Imagine the power to touch something and have it stored as a perfect memory you can access, then touch empty air, think about that object, and instantly copy it. Dining at a Michelin star restaurant? I would copy these meals for later before I eat them. Getting medications from the pharmacy? No need to go for or pay for refills. Made a perfect cup of coffee? That would be available forever. Want to move? Cut everything out of existence and paste it on the other end. Cutting and forgetting would also be fun. If you can paste an endless supply of clean dishes, cutting and deleting the dirty ones on the other end would be great. Story 27. I wish I could do the things I want to do without feeling pain. 10 minutes of walking is enough to hurt my feet and legs. Story 28. The ability to hold billionaires and politicians accountable for their actions to the same extent as the poorest people. Story 29. The power to heal any illness, disease, or condition and give people optimal health for their age group. Not bringing people back from the dead unless right on the cusp. Not immortality. Also, to be able to do it for myself, obviously. Story 30. To know everything contained in a book just by touching it. Understand its concepts and theories fully, and remember everything perfectly. Story 31. Calorie-based teleportation requires careful calorie management. Eating a moderate amount, like a burger, might transport you and someone halfway across the world. Otherwise, overeating could occur. Consume just enough to maintain a healthy weight, but not so much that teleportation becomes impossible whenever you want. Story 32. A non-flashy one I would like is Domino's abilities from Marvel. She says she is just lucky, but she has subconscious minor precognition and telekinesis. Basically, your subconscious mind can see into the near future and uses telekinesis to make sure everything works out for you. Story 33. The teleportation from a jumper allows you to jump anywhere you have seen a picture of. Could you imagine flipping through a book titled Most Beautiful Places in the World, and then teleporting to a different place each day? Story 34. I don't know the actual name of it. I've heard it called mentafairy as well as probability manipulation. I could have any superpower I wanted at any given time. I'd be a god. However, knowing myself, I would probably just use my powers to entertain people. I love being able to host events for my friends and family, so now I could put on huge shows without needing to set up effects or pay for all the gadgets. I'd be Genie from Aladdin, specifically during the friend like me sequence. Story 35. Teleportation for others. Snap, and my girls are here and back home again after we are done. If someone is annoying me, teleport them to the other side of the city. Make a business out of it. I do not know. Story 36. I was thinking about what the strongest and most fun superpower is, and I came to a definite conclusion. The power to create anything from fiction, such as the luck potion from Harry Potter, Iron Man's suit, the lamp from Aladdin, and so on. I think this power is broken because there is no limit. Story 37. The ability to create wormholes that you can open and close, choosing the location where they appear at both ends. Basically, achieving teleportation and time travel where you can bring things with you. Story 38. Go back in time 5 minutes whenever I want. Any superpower in the whole world could be waiting at my feet, and I would still want this one. Go back and say the clever comeback I thought of. Go back and grab the thing I forgot so I do not have to come back for it. This ability would improve my life so significantly I am convinced. Story 39. I want luck like Domino has. If you do not know what I mean, watch Deadpool 2. It is definitely the best power to have. Story 40. The ability to accurately describe the location of anything in the universe when asked. Hey, Tux, where's the historic artifact? Allow me to draw you a map. Right here, 41 feet down, you will have to dig for it. Tux, where is the closest alien intelligence? Are you sure you want the answer to that? The asking is important because I do not want to know the location of everything in existence at all times. That seems like too much. Story 41. Magical inventory bag that defies the laws of physics and lets me store all my belongings in it. It comes with an intuitive search feature, so it knows exactly which item you want to bring back into the regular world. This way, I will never misplace my items again. Forget folding clothes. Just lay them on a flat, clean surface and then store them. They will be wrinkle-free and still smell fresh from the laundry when you use them next. Coins? No problem. Just put them in the inventory. Story 42. The ability to change the probability of anything. Probability I will turn into a sentient flying, fire-breathing tiger? 100%. Probability I will stub my toe today? 0%. Probability that I will get a steak or chicken burrito? 50-50. Story 43. Being able to create unbreakable shields has catastrophic physics implications, especially depending on how precisely you can control them. The potential skyrockets if the barriers can be made invisible or reflect energy. The most exploitable aspect of this power is that, as long as the barriers are truly unbreakable, they can be used to tear through matter. For example, imagine creating an immovable shield shaped like a grain of rice. If someone walks into it, they would just pass through it. Now imagine anchoring a cloud of these micro-barriers to your fists. You would essentially be wielding a reverse cheese grater, one that shreds through anything it touches. These barriers could take any shape and be placed anywhere, functioning as instant kill traps or precision weapons. Or you could place hundreds of these on a frisbee and see what happens when you throw it forward. Naturally, this would make you an incredible hand-to-hand fighter. You could coat yourself in shields, turning your entire body into a weapon. You would be able to strike with full force without risking injury. You could also create footholds or leverage points mid-fight, barriers to pin, trap, or slam opponents into. Imagine a fight sequence. You summon a face-shaped barrier right as your opponent runs into it headfirst. While they are stunned, you punch them square in the face and immediately generate another barrier behind their head for it to crash into. They fall to the ground, dazed. You create a barrier for leverage and use your full body weight to drive your knee into their jaw, while holding their head in place with another barrier to maximize the damage. To make things even more interesting, suppose you can imbue your barriers with traits. One side could negate all energy and force, while the other side reflects everything. You could jump off buildings and land safely on the force-negating side, or trap enemies inside a force-negating space so they cannot build momentum or escape. Now consider the reflection side. If you are reflecting or redirecting all energy, a single punch aimed at a reflection barrier could result in catastrophic recoil. I explored this with an AI language model, and it was convinced you could give a standard human punch the impact of a sledgehammer. Plus, it scales up for stronger opponents. Imagine Superman trying to punch you with all of his strength only for that energy to be redirected back up his arm through his whole body. He would lose that arm. Going back to the trap barriers, you could shred many top-tier opponents who run into them with their own momentum. The possibilities for reflective barriers get even more exciting with hand-to-hand combat. You place one large reflective barrier behind your enemy and two smaller ones behind your own elbows, positioned where your arms draw back before a punch. When you swing, those elbow barriers redirect energy forward, your fists now moving with far more force, and your target gets crushed between your punch and the immovable shield behind them. It would be like the Muda barrage from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now imagine a perfect spherical barrier with 100% reflective properties. Toss a small object inside and let it ricochet. The energy would build with each bounce, especially if your barriers multiply or preserve energy. Shake it up long enough and you would have a highly energetic payload. Release that through a gap, and you have a railgun. Assuming energy can be stored exponentially, you might not even be able to control that power, since after about 30 bounces, you would have a weapon of mass destruction, and each bounce would accelerate. It may be too difficult to manage the timing between using it as a bullet or leveling a city. Story 44. The ability to influence chance, making extremely unlikely situations happen or fail. Essentially, luck is a power, but I can use it on my environment as well. Story 45. Shamelessly stealing this answer from a previous Reddit post, but I want the ability to fill things. Empty cup? Fill it with whatever I want. Lungs are empty? Fill them up with air. Wallet doesn't have cash or gas tank is empty. You get the point. The best part about this power is how you would have the choice to be subtle or grandiose about it. Me? I am not looking to advertise my powers. I just want an easier life for myself and the people I love. Story 46. The ability to manipulate probability. What is the probability that I have infinite money? Let us make that 100%. What is the probability that I can gain the power to fly? Let us make that 100%. What is the probability that I can solve world hunger? Let us make that 100%. This is the best superpower, and no one will ever change my mind. Story 47. Anything the Marvel Cinematic Universe Scarlet Witch's powers allow for, such as telekinesis, reality warping, flight, mind control, as well as some loopholes and extras like teleportation and teleportation of abstract nouns, for example, teleporting money into a bank account or teleporting different clothes on for instant changing. Story 48. Mind reading that you can turn on and off. It is a super powerful tool that would allow you to succeed. I would use it occasionally to understand what people want and to see their true motives. Story 49. Pacify. The moment a fight breaks out or people start yelling, I wave my hand and they become calm and silent. When someone won't let me speak or talks over me, I wave my hand and they become silent. When someone is cruel to me, I look at them and their head explodes in a slow and agonizing way. Story 50. Duplication of any inanimate object I have touched is possible. Anything broken can be replaced. Anything can be taken by just touching it in the store, and any drink, food, or substance can be endlessly replenished. Story 51. To be able to take anything away from someone, money, health, vitality, or whatever I can think of, and give it to myself or anyone I choose on demand. Story 52. Homovision. To be able to see where men fall on the scale from straight to gay, like a glowing pink or something that intensifies with how gay they are. It would make this gay man's dating life much more efficient. Story 53. Duplicate things can be disappointing, especially when the chicken nuggets are all gone and you still want more. Story 54. One coworker of mine has the superpower to show how to swim into debt in under 4 minutes. Another has the power to take on 987 tasks at one time. Story 55. Teleportation would be the best, not going to lie. It is the most practical thing to have these days, especially if you can teleport objects and other people with you. I am thinking of daily use like teleporting to and from work, teleporting home with my groceries, teleporting to visit my long-distance friends, and so on. If I want to go for a quick vacation, I can just teleport my wife and myself to Cancun for the day, or teleport us to any place in the world whenever I want. For example, if I am craving authentic Japanese food tonight, we can just go there. It could also be the most beneficial for criminal activity, if that is your kind of thing. Story 56. To be able to type on my phone without having to constantly press the delete button. Pressed it 5 times typing this out. Story 57. I have always said shapeshifting because, in many ways, by doing so, you obtain many other powers. Want to fly? Be a bird. Want to be super strong? Be a gorilla. Want to be invisible? Be a really small bug. Story 58. Healing myself or others consumes my energy. Bring me a pizza or a chicken sandwich if you want an arm back. Story 59. Shape-shifting. Think about it. Never have to worry about dieting, never have to go to the dentist, never have to go to the doctor, never have to go to the hair salon, never have to go to the spa. Body dysmorphia is 0. It is so practical. Story 60. I want to temporarily absorb other people's abilities when I touch them or make any kind of physical contact. Story 61. Twice the total power of my body is in every single one of my fingers. For example, if my punch can deal 80 damage, one finger flick can deal 160 damage. It would multiply if I use all of them to slap. 160 times 5 equals 800. However, if I punch, my power will be 80 again. Story 62. I would love to have something like the identity spell as an innate ability. Instead of spells, I learn about the history of a specific item, how to use it if it is a tool, and its properties. If I cast Identify on a trumpet, I know everything about the trumpet I just used it on, from the specific alloy used to make it to the names of all previous owners. I also learn how to perfectly play that trumpet. Story 63. I want to be able to freeze time, and while it is stopped, I will not age. I would have the ability to choose specific objects or people that do not freeze with me. This would give me time to learn, more time with loved ones, or just time to play games without having to go to work, while still being able to experience a normal life and age like normal when I choose to spend my life with others. I could also become wealthy very easily for obvious reasons, but I would just have more time for what I enjoy without having to stress. Story 64. You know the time chamber in Dragon Ball Z? It blew my mind as a kid and inspired me a lot. I always dreamed about having a chamber where time stops and being able to bring anything inside it, and I could summon it whenever and wherever I want. I have severe attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and all my life, since I was a little kid, I always had to fight and stay awake on the last day to finish my homework. Story 65. Being able to manipulate and create chemicals, including inside my own and others' brains, would literally mean being in control of my own and others' emotions, motivations, and some brain functions. Alternatively, telekinesis could allow you to lift yourself up and fly. Story 66. Ability to slow time. To be honest, I would use it to have a successful career in motorsports and competitive sports. Story 67. Being able to manipulate the past, but only to fix a few things and not abuse it. Story 68. Healing either hands-on or remotely, like Reiki but genuine instead of fabricated nonsense. Story 69. Copy things that I see, then paste it at home or somewhere else. I don't need to buy anything because I own everything, technically. But I guess it is a boring superpower, although extremely useful for life. Or maybe technopath. I can tell the banks to round up all the decimal leftovers or digits from all the world's bank accounts and aggregate them into a hidden bank account that only I can access. Yeah, to be honest, I just don't want to work. Story 70. To open portals like Doctor Strange but without the whole ring concept. There are many options to make life easier and make money. Plus, if someone annoys me, I can go eat at a buffet, and next time I have to use the bathroom, I can open a portal beneath me and above their head. Can they do DNA testing on feces? If so, just do it in a public place to have an alibi and play it off like, "Bro, I was at work. Look at the camera. This weirdo must have stolen my feces and dropped it on themselves." Story 71. Wolverine-style healing factor without the adamantium skeleton overlay. I am 45 years old and feeling it. I could use less scar tissue and improved resilience. You can keep the super strength and claws. I just want the healing factor. Story 72. The ability to alter people's body and brain chemistry allows you to manipulate anyone to do your bidding by making them temporarily fall in love with you, feel fear, or simply tell the truth. You can cure depression and fix mental health issues, assuming they are related to hormone imbalance. Story 73. I remember this movie called Jumper. I would not mind being able to jump between places by just looking at photographs. Story 74. I want the same form of teleportation as the movie Jumper. I know it is a little lame, but having the barrier of knowing the space you are traveling to would make my commute so much easier. Story 75. I would like to have good luck, be in the right place at the right time, and always do and say the right thing. Story 76. To influence people mentally to achieve my desires. Essentially, to navigate life using cheat codes. It would be very enjoyable. Story 77. Shape-shifting into anything, objects, people, fictional characters or creatures, animals would be incredible. Imagine shape-shifting into a dinosaur. You could get hired for all those Jurassic Park movies they keep making, and you would be set for life. Story 78. Honestly, the ability to master any subject that I am exposed to would be amazing. It would be great to learn and master anything, whether it is cooking or complex physics. Living a life like that would be incredible. Story 79. I do not know if it would be considered a superpower, but bear with me here. My ability would be to create a completely new world or universe where I have complete control. I could make a gun appear in my pocket, add and remove people as I please, and do whatever I want without consequence. As long as I am in my personal little universe, time stops in the normal one. Furthermore, I can make myself immortal or mortal as it pleases me, and if I do die, I just open my eyes back in the normal world. Story 80. I would like the ability to turn people I dislike into kitchen appliances. For instance, a blender. How awesome would it be to make frozen drinks with Donald Trump? Story 81. Ability to create and erase anything that comes to my imagination by snapping my fingers. It could be anything. A new personal computer, a cat girl, or even a stop time button. Just imagine how cool that could be. Story 82. Captain Hindsight, but not like in South Park. If hindsight is perfect vision, I would like to be able to make good decisions in the present without having to look back and say, oh, if only I did XYZ. Story 83. I lose my physical form, but I become an existentially independent entity, which does not need the existence of space and time to exist consciously. Story 84. Enhanced durability and enhanced senses. With short-distance teleportation, if done right, it is just flash step. Matter acceleration, you can propel yourself, or gravitational manipulation. You can do a lot of things if you are creative with these abilities. Story 85. Just flying, along with any ability that would make it a comfortable experience. The idea of flight seems like a beautiful and liberating experience. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.